Welcome back, everyone, to Market Wrap. I'm Moe Ansari, and you're tuned in as you've been doing so for over 25 years now. And as always, wherever you are across the nation, you can always dial pound 250 on your cell phone, and you can say, talk to Moe, and you can always talk to me. And I will be more than happy to share with you my 39 years of trading experience. But for the next few minutes, hold your calls. We're going to go to our guest line. On our guest line is Congressman Jim Langevin. He is a representative for Rhode Island's 2nd Congressional District. Congressman Langevin is a senior member of the House Committee on Homeland Security, where he serves as a member of the Subcommittee on Cybersecurity, Infrastructure Protection, and Security Technologies. He is also the co-founder and co-chairman of the Bipartisan Congressional Cybersecurity Caucus. Congressman Langevin has introduced the Personal Data Notification and Protection Act and is the author of the Foster Youth Financial Security Act. Congressman, thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you, Mo. It's great to be with you today.
A recent article in the Wall Street Journal suggests that cyber thieves are now targeting children for identity theft. And I saw that article and it fascinated me because no one really is thinking about that. And the financial damage can be staggering. Why are they targeting children now?
Well, because the theft of children's identity can go unnoticed for years. Basically, because young people rarely use their Social Security number, for example. And criminals, however, can use these Social Security numbers to open up new lines of credit or apply for government benefits unbeknownst to the guardians who are unlikely to monitor their child's credit score, since they wouldn't be using it to open up credit in the first place as a young person.
Now, why is the identity theft potentially more financially damaging for a child than it is for an adult? I mean, they don't have any credit, they're not getting any credit cards yet. Why is it more damaging to them?
Well, it's damaging in particular because a young person who is just going to get themselves established, probably you're around 18, you're applying for a credit to buy a car or to get an apartment, and it may only be then that someone would, doing a credit check when you're first opening up credit and trying to establish yourself, would see that there's already charges on there, fraudulent charges, and you may already have your credit ruined because of these fraudulent charges. And we're particularly concerned, of course, about children that are in foster care who may age out of the system, and they don't have parents per se or guardians that might be there to help them to deal with such a devastating thing having happened to them. It's one thing for children; they have their families and a support system around them that they may be, we'll be able to work through this, although it's difficult for anyone, but certainly for a young person. Mm-hmm. And then someone in foster care who may not have those kind of resources, it's particularly troubling.
You have introduced a bill aimed at battling this issue. Tell us about that, Congressman.
Yeah, so the bill that I've introduced, and it's the Protect Children from Theft Act, and the bill basically directs the Consumer Financial Protection Division, Bureau, to write a rule giving parents and guardians the ability to create a protected frozen credit file for the children. Mm-hmm. So being proactive, a parent could place a freeze on a credit report, which would prevent lenders and others from accessing a credit report entirely, which would stop really any extension of credit. Some states already do this on a state level, allowing parents to do this, but we want to make it easier at the federal level, as having this Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to write a rule that enables this to happen.
What are the chances that we'll get this passed in Congress and get this done? Because this seems like a great idea. Just like if there is a cyber attack or somebody's identity is stolen, they can get a credit report, they can put a freeze on their credit. What are the chances that this will get through Congress and we will have this law as a national law and a federal law?
Yeah, well, I've just introduced the legislation, so it's we're working at it, and we're going to try to work its way through the process. Sometimes even great ideas take time, but I'm going to continue to push hard on this. I think it's the right thing to do to protect our children and families, if you will. And I think it's something, an idea that would have broad bipartisan support, and I think it's again the right thing to do. So, I'm going to continue to educate members about the challenge, the problem, because we all recognize how serious cybercrime is and identity theft. Many people have already been the victims of that, having had their credit cards information stolen, or bank accounts hacked, or even medical records, medical information stolen. All these things are troubling and can be very costly. And I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can possibly combat cyber computer crime. But especially, I want to do everything we can to protect our children.
We appreciate this, Congressman, and I hope this law gets passed and we do get this in laws on the books, because I think it's something that we really need to need to look at to protect the children, to protect their credit. I mean, the first time a kid goes out, tries to get a credit card, or tries to get an apartment, or tries to buy his first car or her first car, and all of a sudden they've got all of this bad credit, and they start out with a tremendous burden trying to get this corrected. And as you mentioned, foster youth that do not have the support system around them. Hopefully, we can have these laws in place to protect them. We appreciate your help, Congressman, and thank you for taking the time today to be with us.
Well, Mo, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
That's Congressman Jim Langevin. And I think this is something that we all need to think about. Folks, when you talk to your congressman, you talk to them about this law, because I think it's a good one, something that can help our kids. Stay tuned. You are listening to Market Wrap. I'm Moe Ansari. I'm going to take a short break, and I will be right back.